Let me ask you this question. When was the last time you opened Facebook because you were genuinely excited to use it? Not out of habit, not because you were bored, but because you actually wanted to be there. Back then, logging into Facebook actually felt important. Coming back from school, checking your notifications, seeing who posted, who liked your photo, who sent you a friend request. And the craziest part is, was it really anything competing with it at that time? No endless short form content, no algorithm constantly fighting for your attention every second, and no social media platform moving at the speed the internet moves today. For millions of people, Facebook felt like the perfect place to be online. But today, that very version of Facebook barely exists anymore. Young users moved on, internet culture changed, the creator that once dominated the app all of a sudden stopped caring, and the platform that once dominated the internet slowly started losing it. And to be honest, I don't think any of this happened because of the scandals Facebook had or its involvement in political influence. Because even during those controversies, people were still using the platform. So, what really happened? How did the biggest social media platform on earth slowly lose the very generation that made it powerful in the first place? Before Facebook became the internet, it was just a small idea inside a college dorm. It all started back in 2004 when Mark Zuckerberg launched a platform originally designed for students at Harvard University. The idea was simple, a digital space where students could connect, find each other, and share parts of their campus life online. At the time, it didn't look like anything revolutionary, just another college project on the internet. But something unexpected started happening. As more students began using it, the demand quickly spread beyond Harvard. Other universities wanted access, then more schools were added, and slowly, what started as a small campus tool began turning into something much bigger. This was the beginning of Facebook's first major advantage, and that made it feel different. It wasn't anonymous like most of the early internet, it was built around real people. In September 2006, Facebook made its biggest move yet. It opened its doors to the general public, and this is where everything changed. Because now it was no longer just students anymore, it was everyone, teenagers, adults, families, communities, and businesses, all joining the same digital space. And from that moment on, Facebook growth didn't just continue, it began to explode. Unlike most platforms that grow gradually, Facebook entered a phase of exponential expansion. The more people joined, the more valuable it became because your friends were already there, your schoolmates were already there, the network was already forming, and this is what made Facebook extremely powerful. You didn't join because it was new, you joined because you were already late. Even though Facebook wasn't perfect in its early years, it stayed consistent with one core idea, connecting people. That single focus made it different from many early internet platforms that tried to do too much at once. Facebook was simple, connect, share, interact, and you stay updated. And that simplicity helped it scale faster than most competitors of its time. At the time Facebook was rising, the internet was already full of early social platforms. One of the biggest at that time was MySpace. MySpace wasn't just popular, it was dominant. For a while, it defined what social media looked like: custom profiles, music integrations, personal page, and online identity expression. But while MySpace focused heavily on customization and expression, Facebook focused on structure and real identity. And that difference quietly changed everything. By 2009, the shift was no longer theoretical, it was confirmed. Facebook had officially surpassed MySpace in user base and global attention. And unlike MySpace, Facebook didn't slow down after taking the lead. It kept growing, it kept expanding, and it kept becoming more deeply embedded into everyday's digital life. But this wasn't the end of the story. It was only the beginning of something much bigger. For years, Facebook felt untouchable. The platform wasn't just growing, it was becoming part of everyday life. And because of that, millions of users kept joining. And eventually, even our parents started showing up. And strangely, that was one of the first moments the platform started feeling different. Because back then, Facebook felt like a digital space mostly owned by younger users. A place where they could freely interact, share random thoughts, post personal moments, and express themselves online without overtaking everything. But once older generations started entering the platform, that freedom slowly started changing. People became more careful with what they posted, more aware of who was watching, more aware of who could see their personal lives. And over time, Facebook slowly stopped feeling personal. The same platform people once used to express themselves freely started feeling performative. People were no longer posting because they wanted to share moments. They were posting for attention, for engagement, for reaction, and for virality. And slowly, the authenticity that once defined Facebook started disappearing. But this wasn't the only thing changing. As Facebook continued growing into bigger social media platform in the world, it also started facing real problems on a scale no platform had experienced before. Fake accounts, scams, harassment, misinformation, and impersonation. The platform had become too massive to control manually. And because of that, Facebook started introducing stricter moderation system. At first, these systems were meant to protect users. Any account suspected of suspicious behaviors were flagged, spam networks were removed, and fake profiles were taken down. And honestly, at first, it actually made sense because as social media become more powerful, governments and regulators started putting pressures on platforms like Facebook to control harmful activities online. And because there were growing concerns around privacy, online safety, fake identities, and dangerous content spreading across the platform, Facebook was being forced to become stricter. But over time, those systems started affecting ordinary users too. People began waking up to disable accounts, locked profiles, verification requests, restriction without clear explanations. And for many users, it felt frustrating, not because they believe Facebook shouldn't have rules, but because the platform no longer felt effortless to use. What once felt open and socialized started feeling monitored. And while all of this was happening, the internet itself was changing. Social media was starting to become more faster, more addictive, and more entertainment focused. And Facebook, it was struggling to keep up with that shift. Because by the late 2010s, people were no longer using social media the way they did before. The internet had entered a completely different era. Users no longer wanted long status updates or carefully written posts about their personal life. People wanted fast content, instant entertainment, and endless scrolling. And this is when new platforms started taking over. Instagram began attracting younger users with cleaner and more visual experience. Celebrities moved there, influencers built audience there, internet culture slowly started shifting. And later on, then came TikTok. Unlike Facebook, TikTok didn't feel slow or personal. It was fast, aggressive, and algorithm driven. And almost overnight, it completely changed how people consume content online. Suddenly, anyone could go viral instantly. You didn't need years of online connections. You didn't need to build a Facebook network. You just needed one video. And for Gen Zs, that changed everything. The same generations that once glorified Facebook during its early years slowly stopped caring about it. The attention moved elsewhere to faster platforms built for a completely different internet culture. And little by little, Facebook started losing the very audience that once made the platform feel alive. By this point, Facebook wasn't really the center of internet culture anymore. It still had billions of users, people still opened the app, but the energy was gone. The younger generations had already moved on, and Facebook slowly became the platform mostly used by older generations who never really left. Not because Facebook completely collapsed overnight, but because the internet evolved into something else, and Facebook failed to keep that same emotion connection it once had with the people, which made it powerful in the very first place.